132, the first time billionaire Arjun Malhotra noticed the homeless girl. He almost didn't notice her at all. She blended into the edges of the city the way shadows do, present, silent, easy to ignore if you're used to looking past pain instead of at it. Arjun was stepping out of his black luxury sedan in front of the elite private academy. His daughter attended. His phone pressed to his ear, voice calm and commanding, as he closed. A deal worth more than most people would earn in 10 lifetimes. Drivers waited, security hovered, teachers nodded nervously. This was his world, controlled, expensive, insulated. But then he heard laughter, not the polite, rehearsed laughter of rich parents or the obedient giggles of children trying to impress adults. This laughter was free, bright, unfiltered. It cut through the noise of traffic and ambition and made him pause mid-step. He turned his head slightly, irritation already forming. And that's when he saw her. A thin teenage girl sat on the pavement near the iron fence of the school. Her clothes worn, oversized, clearly donated. Her hair was tied back with a fraying ribbon, and beside her lay a battered backpack that had clearly lived a harder life than most people ever would. Across from her, sitting cross-legged on the clean stone walkway in an expensive school uniform, was his daughter, Anaya. Arjun's heart skipped, then hardened. Anaya was not supposed to sit on the ground. She was not supposed to talk to strangers. She was not supposed to be here in the dust next to a homeless girl. His security team noticed his sudden stop and followed his gaze, immediately stiffening. One of them stepped forward instinctively, but Arjun raised a hand, stopping him. Something about the scene unsettled him, not with fear but confusion. The homeless girl held a small notebook between them, its pages yellowed and creased. She pointed at something written there, speaking softly, but with certainty. Anaya listened with complete focus, her brows furrowed, her lips moving as she repeated words under her breath. Arjun lowered his phone slowly, the voice on the other end fading into nothing. For the first time that day, the billionaire forgot about money. He moved closer without announcing himself. The girl was explaining a math problem, her finger tracing numbers as if she owned them, as if knowledge itself had chosen her despite everything else it had taken away. "No, see," she said gently, correcting Anaya. "You don't rush it. You break it into pieces. Big problems are just small ones, pretending to be scary." Anaya smiled, nodding eagerly. "That's what you said yesterday," she replied. Yesterday, the word hit Arjun like a slap. Yesterday meant this wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't a one-time interaction. This had been happening without his knowledge, without his permission. Anger flared, sharp and hot. But before he could speak, Anaya looked up and saw him. Her face lit up. "Papa!" "You're early," she said, jumping to her feet. 2-3, the homeless girl froze, eyes widening slightly as she followed Anaya's gaze and realized who stood before her. Arjun took her in fully now. She couldn't have been more than 16 or 17. Her eyes were alert but guarded, the kind of eyes that had learned early not to expect kindness. She stood up slowly, instinctively stepping back, as if preparing for rejection before it happened. Arjun recognized that posture. He'd seen it in factory workers he fired, in people whose lives were numbers on his spreadsheets. But seeing it here, in front of his daughter, felt different. "Anaya," he said, keeping his voice neutral, "what is this?" Anaya didn't hear accusation. She heard curiosity. "Papa, this is Aisha," she said proudly, as if introducing a teacher. "She helps me with math and reading. She's really smart." Arjun's gaze snapped back to the girl. "Aisha!" The name echoed strangely in his mind. "You help my daughter?" he asked. His tone was calm, but it carried weight. Aisha nodded quickly. "Yes, sir. Only when she asks. I don't bother her. She comes to me." Anaya protested immediately. "Papa, she doesn't bother me at all. I go to her. She explains better than my tutor." That was another blow. Arjun had hired the best tutors money could buy. How could this homeless girl, this child, outperform them? Teachers had begun to notice the gathering. Parents whispered. Security shifted uneasily. Arjun felt the familiar pressure of eyes on him, judging, waiting to see how the billionaire would respond. Would he be generous, cruel, dismissive? He'd played these roles before in public. But now, with Anaya clutching his hand and looking up at him with hope, none of them felt right. "Where are your parents?" he asked Aisha. The question came out harsher than intended. Aisha lowered her eyes. "My mother passed away 2 years ago. My father left before that." Silence followed, thick and uncomfortable. Anaya squeezed Arjun's hand tighter. He felt something crack just slightly, in a place he'd kept sealed for years. "Why are you here?" Arjun asked. Aisha gestured vaguely around them. "I stay nearby. I come here because the library sometimes throws away old books. And because—" She hesitated, then met his eyes with unexpected courage. "Because learning shouldn't stop just because life did." The words stunned him. They weren't rehearsed. They weren't dramatic. They were simply true. Arjun had heard hundreds of motivational speeches in air-conditioned halls, paid millions to consultants who spoke of resilience and grit. None of them had sounded like this. None of them had come from a girl with nothing but a broken backpack and a sharp mind. A teacher finally intervened, clearing her throat nervously. "Mr. Malhotra, is there a problem?" Arjun didn't answer immediately. He looked at Anaya, at the open notebook, at the equations solved neatly in the margins. His daughter struggled in school, not because she wasn't intelligent, but because she was lonely, surrounded, 3-3 by privilege, isolated by expectations. And here, sitting on stone steps, she'd found someone who spoke to her like an equal. "No," he said finally, "there's no problem." The teacher looked relieved but confused. Parents murmured. Aisha looked stunned. Anaya beamed. Arjun straightened his suit. "Anaya, go wait in the car," he said gently. She hesitated. "Papa, I just want to talk to Aisha for a moment," he added. Anaya looked at Aisha, who nodded reassuringly. Reluctantly, Anaya walked away. The moment she was out of earshot, Aisha's guard went back up. "Sir, if this is not allowed, I won't come again," she said quickly. "I don't want trouble." Arjun studied her.